Folks, we are with Shant Jordan of Synaptic VFX.
Correct.
And tell my viewers about your company and what you've done, some of the path-breaking work like Troops, for example.
Exactly. Well, my company, Synaptic VFX, has been around since 2012. We've done visual effects work on Sleepy Hollow, the first season, for example, various television shows and a lot of films, including Neon Demon, which just came out, the Ruffin film, which I know if you're a Ruffin fan, you know.
I'm a Ruffin fan, driver. Yeah.
There you go, there you go. So basically, we've done, we're mostly known, I mean, years and years ago we did Troops, which is a fan film, ultimately, a Star Wars meets Cops sort of fan film, which kind of created a huge buzz and pretty much kicked off the fan film world surrounding Star Wars. So that's kind of the inciting incident, ultimately, in my career. And then from that point on, we moved on, and I've done various films and well, so as far as Synaptic goes, we do visual effects work on films and various television shows, and we're now getting into VR, which seems to be the hot potato.
Yes.
Everyone wants VR, so it's a VR world currently right now. We've got a VR department, we've got our own rigs, we built our own cameras, and so we're out shooting lots of VR content. So
I'm curious, because I'm also helping promote you in this. If you were, what's your ideal situation for film? I mean, how do you want to come in?
Well, generally, we'd love to come in early, meet with the director before any sort of production is started, because we like to get into the pre-production mode, where we do a lot of concept work, which my brother is a major concept artist. He does a lot of that work. The concept work helps you set up a lot of the visuals that you might want to do, which aids you in shooting a lot of the elements. And then we just move right into the post after the production. During production, I'd be on set like I usually am and supervise just to make sure everything comes in without any surprises, because that's generally what happens is you have someone else on there and they do it the way they want to, and you end up with things going over budget. So in our case, the entire project can be done with us. So we start with pre-production, on set, and then post. So that's it.
And we're also having an interesting conversation about how VFX industry has changed.
Oh my God.
How has it changed over the past 15 years?
Okay, well I would say that 15 years ago there was a handful of visual effects companies, all who had to be great in order to survive. Now you find there's probably 30 in my neighborhood. And I'm not being sarcastic.
In Los Angeles?
In Los Angeles, there's
30.
30, easy. And so, 30 VFX companies all claiming they can do the best job. A lot of times, producers will go to some of these other people, and the job might not be as good as they might want. So then now the budget's been depleted, and they approach a company that's been around for years and ask them, hey, could you please help us out? And so we end up doing stuff for a lower number, which is, fine. We understand it's all about relationship building, but it happens much too often.
Oh, it's like, how can, in the California parlance, if you were talking to, if California Governor Jerry Brown were to see this, what would you say to him? What do you
I'd
want
say
him to hear?
release some cash, create subsidies. I mean, if we had to open a branch in New Orleans, a branch in New York, and now we're talking about opening a branch in Georgia, Atlanta specifically, we end up opening these branches, which cost us money. Then at the end of the day, we have to generate content and do it at a high level for a reduced budget. So, if you just brought some of the business back here, everyone else in Georgia could still work, but we'd have some business here to at least, keep these companies here open. That's really what we need.
It sounds like you have 30 effects companies in LA, but a smaller dollar that you're fighting for.
We are, and it's shrinking as time goes on, because now people are going even further abroad. I mean, they're going to Europe. In Europe, a lot of people in Europe, a lot of the workforce in Europe has worked at ILM or Weta, and ultimately gotten amazing exposure to amazing projects. And then they'll pick up and leave and go, back to, Sweden or Germany and start their own companies there, and then the governments there will subsidize the work. So now...
Based on what they learned in America.
Correct. So they're high-level artists.
Wow.
So
That's
hard to
so
compete.
Wrong. That's so wrong.
Very wrong. Hard to compete.
So, I'm curious. I don't know if you remember Clash of the Titans.
I do.
Was that the beginning of the end of that kind of bad special effects? Because I met the guy that did it at the Variety 3D Entertainment Summit after I had written a blog post about how bad the VFX were.
And then you met him?
Yeah, and then I met him. So yeah, but he wound up later being put on the Academy.
Yeah, you know, it's iconic work. It is, even though we might look at it now and say, oh my God, it looks horrible. It's iconic work. And the person did it with very few resources. And that's...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't a lot of people here at the time, so you have to kind of look at the scenario. At that period, there were only a few houses doing anything like that. So, you know, I enjoyed it personally.
Yeah.
I agree with you on some levels. How could you not?
That was
specifically with technology today.
He's a nice guy. I didn't want to put his name out there.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Very nice guy, so I quite enjoyed it. Hey, so what movies is your work in now that we should watch out for that you released over the past few years?
Well, actually, we did a film called I Saw the Light, which is a Hank Williams biopic. I was in Shreveport for, 35 days or something, supervising that. And then we did all the visual effects at Synaptic, my company. We did all of them. It was a periodization piece with, we actually flew to the Ryman Theater, surveyed the interior, rebuilt the Ryman Theater virtually, like in 3D, and then added crowd and comped Hank Williams, or Tom Hiddleston in this case, in singing in front of what appeared to be the Ryman, which was actually not the Ryman. So we did a lot of that, and, you know, obviously periodization films of, it was supposed to be 1950, 49, 50. So, you know, you're removing a lot of aerials and doing things like that. It's just a grunt work.
So let me get something out there. Special effects is really creating a world, right? Because I say that because in lay terms, we think special effects, we think Star Wars, we think science fiction, we think the things that are obvious. But you're talking about saying it's not obvious.
We call them invisible effects.
Yeah.
Because and it's specifically become more and more of a thing because I don't know how to really put it, but filmmakers today, because of the limited budgets the studios are giving them, have to move quickly. And as they move quickly, they make mistakes. They don't have the time to plan things properly, and then sometimes it's just dumb stuff they can't control.
Yeah.
And then so we come in and we do a lot of work fixing those errors in post. I mean, the term you've heard, we'll fix it in post. They're talking about more than just doing full-blown visual effects. A lot of that has to do with fixing errors. You know, we didn't have
orders.
Well, it's like saying, okay, we shot this whole scene. Oh wow, we forgot this whole scene was supposed to be on this location. You know, based on this, or we didn't have the budget to do that, or so on. So we end up, you know, maybe rotoscoping these people and putting them into another location.
Yeah.
There are things that we do that you'll never know as a viewer. You imagine they've shot it at that original location, but you just don't know.
That's wild.
We call them invisible effects, but it's kind of the bread and butter at this point, just based on the way filmmakers are making films now.
Hey, so in closing, we could talk for a long time, but I want to thank McKormick and Schmidt for letting us use this space.
Thank you, McKormick.
This is great space. This is, you know,
yes.
Yeah. And what's your website? How can people find you?
It's synapticvfx.com. You can just go right there and you can check out our reel and all the things we've worked on and just look at a lot of the beautiful artwork my brother creates.
Hey, thanks a lot.
You got it, man.
Cool.
Thank you.